She haunted many a low resort near the grimy road of Tottenham Court. She flitted about the no-man's land, from the rising sun to the friend at hand, and the postman sighed as he scratched his head. You really had thought she ought to be dead, and who had ever supposed that was Grisabella, the glamour cat. McCavity's a mystery cat, he's called the Hidden Paw, for he's a master criminal who can defy the law. He's the bafflement of Scotland Yard, the flying squad's despair. For when they reach the scene of crime, McCavity's not there. McCavity, there's no one like McCavity. He's broken every human law, he breaks the law of gravity. His powers of levitation would make a faker stare. And when you reach the scene of crime, McCavity's not there. You may seek him in a basement, you may look up in the air, but I tell you once and once again, McCavity's not there! Bustopher Jones is not skin and bones, in fact, he's remarkably fat. He doesn't haunt pubs, he has 8 or 9 clubs, for he's a St. James's Street cat. He's the cat we all greet as he walks down the street in his coat of fastidious black. No commonplace mousers have such well-cut trousers or such an impeccable back. In the Hall of St. James, he's the smartest of names, is the name of his Brummel of cats. And we're all of us proud to be nodded or bowed to by Bustopher Jones and white spats. Mungo, Jerry, and Rumpleteazer were a notorious couple of cats, as knockabout clowns, quick-change comedians, tightrope walkers, and acrobats. They had an extensive reputation. We make our home in Victoria Grove. That is merely our center of operation. But we are incurably given to rove. When the family assembles for Sunday dinner, their minds made up that they won't get thinner. On Argentine joint, potatoes and greens, then the cook would appear from behind the scenes and say in a voice that is broken with sorrow, I'm afraid you must wait and have dinner tomorrow. The joint has gone from the oven like that. Then the family will say it's that horrible cat. Was it Mungo, Jerry, or Rumpleteazer? And most of the time, they leave it at that. Gus is the cat at the theater door. His name, as I ought to have told you before, is really Asparagus, but that's such a fuss to pronounce that we usually call him just Gus. His coat's very shabby, he's thin as a rake, and he suffers from palsy, which makes his paws shake. Yet he was in his youth quite the smartest of cats, though no longer a terror to mice or to rats, for he isn't the cat that he was in his prime. Though his name was quite famous, he says, in his time. and he likes to relate his success on the halls, where the gallery once gave him 7 cat calls. But his grandest creation, as he loves to tell, was Fire for Fiddle, the fiend of the fell. Macavity's a ginger cat. He's very tall and thin. You would know him if you saw him, for his eyes are sunken in. His brow is deeply lined in thought. His head is highly domed. His coat is dusty from neglect. His whiskers are uncombed. He sways his head from side to side with movements like a snake. And when you think he's half asleep, he's always wide awake! Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. He's a fiend in feline shape, a monster of depravity. You may seek him in a by-street, you may seek him in the square, but when a crime's discovered, then Macavity's not there. Moonlight, turn your face to the moonlight. Let your memory lead you. Open up, enter in. If you find there the meaning of what happiness is, then a new life will begin. Sunlight through the trees